Noire's treasurer. And I'm so grateful for it because we were bathing war at that point. Like we were trying to figure things out, what's up and down, making financial decisions and making oopsies. And I'm so grateful to her. They are close to my heart. I love and respect them. I've gone and supported them on their efforts. And this is one thing I want to highlight here in Pensacola is that when Justina was highlighting and saying, hey, we're going to do this thing, we're going to do this in regard to financial literacy as well within the community and tax strategy and information. There's no competition within family. We are collaborative. We work together. We help support one another. Anything she needs, I'm available, and vice versa. She knows that. Same thing with Mr. Royster, and that's what I love. When I reach out to her and I reach out to them when I need anything, I know they're always available. Not only to me, but also to the community. Their efforts are limitless here in the community. So I'm so honored to have them because they're so close to me. And I'm grateful that they're here with us tonight. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Forrester from Blue Square.
Thank you guys for being here, and thank you, the Noire residents and Noire for the opportunity. We love to talk about finances in general. I'm just going to talk about finances. Okay, I'll let you talk, baby. So we are going to talk about how to define your finances. So we're going to talk about So we're going to talk about a mixture of budgeting and taxes, businesses, things like that. So just to introduce ourselves just a little bit, I am the owner of Reliable Tax and Financial manager of First Class Events and promotion manager of First Class Promotions. My husband Tony is also the founder of Fresh Start Consulting Group, which is his new baby. So we're excited about that. And he's also the founder of First Class Events. We were born and raised here in Florida. We have 5 beautiful children, ages 23, 22, 18, 15, and we started all over after a trip to the Bahamas. We came back with a souvenir. So we do have a grandbaby who is 2 years old now. So we owned and operated Reliable Tax for about 17 years now. We specialize in personal business, nonprofit taxes, bookkeeping, payroll. I do notarization, and we educate our community on financial literacy. So our nonprofit is also geared towards engaging, educating, and empowering the community with the knowledge and understanding of budgeting, because that's so important, especially with growing families. So we want to touch on budgeting, how to keep a healthy budget, and some people have to also, we want to introduce Fresh Start Consulting.
I just want to say hello to everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I do want to have you give yourself a round of applause for being here to try to learn more about life, and finances, because it is not easy out here as the world continues to grow, and they kind of want to push us. We kind of want to push some of us out of the way, but we're not going to allow that to happen, especially when you have beautiful people who are teaching you about investments and stepping out on faith to encourage our culture, because we are all we have. And to trust one another when it comes down to dollars is very rare. But with this group right here, it is very awesome. You have a group full of smart black people, and it's beautiful. I want to give a round of applause to my 3 kids. 3 out of 5 who are in the back. My oldest is Kyria, who gave me my first grandbaby, who was 2 years old, she was adorable. My oldest son back there, Amari Royster, he's 15. He's a soccer star, so you may see him somewhere. He's traveling all over the world, and I just am very happy for him. I'm happy to be able to be who I am for him to live the life that he lives, especially all my kids. My oldest daughters, they taught me how to parent. I went in first saying, hey, it's gonna go my way. And with my sons, and all my kids now, I allow them to speak their minds. We are able to have open conversation. They're able to tell me how they feel. I don't hold too much against them, but I am kind. My youngest son over there, who was a silver ear Royster, I'm just a proud father and a proud family man. I pray for times like this, and I wear the crown very, very strong because it does get heavy for men. And actually, a round of applause for me. Happy Father's Day to all of us. We are very different. We respect our ladies, but I love my brothers and our men. Tapping the budgeting because we all like to spend. She's tapping on me because I go off of script sometimes. But when it comes down to saving, building, you and the budget, the middle of that is sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice for the greater of you, your family, and all that you want in life? When it comes down to budgeting, if you don't sacrifice, you won't have some of these things. And then I want to ask people, what are you spending your money on? But you won't know what you're spending your money on until you actually, I'm old school, write it down. Or you can get a sheet, which we will give you a handout to try to learn how to budget a little better. Because honestly, if you don't see what you're spending, you won't know what you're doing. Say that again. If you don't see what you're spending, you really don't know what you have going on. And then all of a sudden, you see bank account maybe get low. And honestly, it's frustrating when things are out of the way. And we are in control of it. I say that again. The person who is in the mirror that you see every day when you go brush your teeth or pass by and look at yourself, ladies, when you're looking at yourself, the person that you see is in control of all of it. And there's nobody else's fault but you. I feel as you can have anything you want if you're willing to sacrifice. It may take a month, it may take a year, it may take 5. I believe in planting seeds. That doesn't mean it's going to grow tomorrow. Y'all know how plants work. You have to water it. And sometimes when you plant that seed, it can take up a year. I have a brand that I branded 6 years ago, and I just brought it back. So that seed that I planted 6 years ago, which is Let's Talk About Productions, is all about supporting community, Black businesses, and just people in general, because we all need a hand sometimes, somebody to hold on to say, hey, please hold me accountable. We have to be okay with taking the mask off sometimes and saying, hey, I might not be able to do this by myself. And that's what Fresh Start Consulting Group is about. We dive into all types of things. My part is the budgeting. That's my lane. I don't try to hop in Mo's lane. I don't try to hop in Chris' lane. I hop in my lane because I know I'm strong in my lane. I have Mr. Gary, who was my mentor, my brother, my uncle, my extended father. He's all about me. He's all about the mindset being changed. He's about relationships. So if you ever want to tap into anything, there's somebody on the team that will be able to help you. And I'm well connected. So if there's anything else you want to dive into, reach out because I might connect you to an investment group. I might connect you to the councilwoman who can point you in the right direction. It's all kind of people in here who are willing to help change. So the building part. What are you willing to sacrifice to build? How many of us in here have a car? That's car. Well, it's not many of y'all know pretty good. I like that. But for me, I like to pay off vehicles because I like to continuously pay myself after I pay the vehicle off. So everybody in here who said they don't have a car now, create a car. You never know if you might need one in a month or a year. Give me $200, $300. Pay that to a side account. Tell yourself that's my bill every month. I have to pay this bill. If it's $300 a month, in 3 months, that's $900. You double it up, that's $18. And then it goes on and on. Insurance plays a role. So for the ones who are looking for a vehicle or you're looking to get into a new bill, because that's exactly what it is, you have to incorporate that, hey, I'm gonna have to pay insurance as well. That can go from 150 to 300. I don't know your driving record, so I don't know how much this company's gonna tax you. All in all, if you pay yourself first, because that's the first thing we're supposed to do when we get money. I've been teaching my children for the longest. My 8-year-old knows a lot about finances. Now, what they do after they turn 18 and they get on their own with it, that's on them. But I do my part in allowing them to see where I may be frustrated at, or what am I doing with my funds? What am I investing? How much fun time am I having? Some people every Friday, hey, it's Friday, I'm gonna have some drinks. When you get home, tally up these drinks and how much you spent that evening. I love using credit cards, and I'm only speaking for the ones who are responsible enough to use a credit card, because everybody is not responsible enough to use a credit card. You have to pay them back.
At some point.
It's a loan. You can have a $10,000 credit card, but it's a $10,000 loan. So if you max it, they will hit you with interest and bill for them to get rich. So if you have the money in the account, you have $13,000 in the account, you owe $10,000, they can hold that money. Because now you don't have an extra bill, the interest is a bill. We want to eliminate as many bills as we can. If you have a family, your kids are going to need something. We're going to dive into the taxes. When you get your tax money, don't just go blow it. We don't need furniture every year. We don't need a new car every year. I don't need a bunch of new clothes. I've grown up, I've had my time when I was young, I just want to buy. But as I toured, and I pray that happens very quickly for the young people, or we have to do our part in pouring to them and tell them, hey, you're wasting time. Because you never know what you may need, you never know what they may need. And you get the tax money, say you get $3,000, and you blow $2,000 of it, but you know campus coming up, football registration is coming up, sports coming up. Oh, shout out to you. Tutoring, my child needs tutoring. That's something else that we lack in our community. We want to praise and raise, the people who do sports, but what about the education? Mark as well. We're all about teaching what we need for the future. It's not about now. It's about your future.
That's right.
I know somebody said earlier, hey, you want to take vacation, you want to do something. I sacrificed for 2 years and did nothing while I was working on a project. I'm also a proud owner of a group home, and I had to sit my behind that. So when people call and say, hey, we're going to Chicago for the weekend, you want to go? I can't. Hey, we're going here. I can't do that either. Hey, you want to go out to eat tonight? No, because I know I like to eat. It's going to run me by at least $40 to $50. Just pay yourself. For my brothers in here with the bald head, I want you to shave yourself, right?
Come on now.
Seriously. Instead of going to the barbershop, we're cutting ourselves, right? Pay yourself $30. If you go every week, let it add up. It's $30. My boys have blocks. I pay myself because I know they didn't have blocks. When I go get a cut, they don't have to get a cut. So these are expenses you wouldn't have had if you put all your money in one box. You will never see what you saved. You can't just say, I didn't go shopping today. No, if you were going to buy some shoes that you really wanted and they cost $100, pay yourself $100. But you have to put it in a side account so you can see what you're stacking. You can't see from one account. I like to put money in different areas, different accounts. So if I need something, I'm not feeling like I'm drained and I'm on my legs. My business partner in DC, I love when he said, man, every time Tony, I think I'm broke, I think about my investment account. I said, feels good. And I want to give a sacrifice. It's a sheet that helps you save up for a house in 1 year in 5,000. So what we did was match it. This was many years ago. We saved up 5,000 apiece and saved up 10,000 in 1 year. And we actually finished 1 month ahead of how we did what we did. And we use that account to invest. We don't do nothing personal. We just invest out of it. But it gives you an accountability partner. Get around like-minded people. You know your circle. You know the messy ones. Come on now, we love to talk to them, but we don't want to talk about nothing that's going to help us with our children. Recognize your true friends. The ones who call you and ask about your family, and the ones who just talk about them. Me personally, I don't have time to waste. I don't. So it has to be a productive conversation. It has to be something that's helping me, and I want to financially grow, so I get around like-minded people. I always want to learn. Once you think you know it all, you lost it. I'm a forever be a learner. I'm a student of life. and I pray that everybody be the same way. But let's go back to the budgeting. Put your money in different locations. Money market accounts, actually, this is my side kick right here, she keeps me on track. Money market accounts are great because if you get into some type of bind, they won't penalize you. You just lose the interest for that month if you have to take that out. It's certificates that you put your money in, and you have to be financially okay with what you put in that certificates because they will hold your money for that time, whether it's 6 months, 9 months. But these accounts will give you extra money on the $5%. It's very nice depending on what you're putting in that account. But when I'm dealing with my people and they're educating me, and I love how they elevated on the programs, it became a time where I wasn't able to make all the meetings. And one thing I love about Noire, and I know it's continuously rising, they want you involved. They want to teach you. They don't want to just say, hey, this is what we're doing, run with it. They're saying, hey, for the next 2 hours, I need you to chime in and give me your thoughts and opinions. And that's important because nobody wants to guide us and teach us anything. But you have to want it too. If you don't want it, I'm not going to chase you. Ooh, fresh start to soft group. If you don't want to feel the pressure, please don't call me. If you don't want to be held accountable, please don't call me. If you're not ready for me to be on you, do not call because that means you're not ready for growth. We can't push you. We need to hold on to you and we move together. And that's how we need to be. And remember, we don't have time for this. Am I missing something? Am I on track? Okay. Okay, let me pass the mic back.
So, do we have any business? We have business owners, am I right? Okay. So, do we have anybody who is trying to start a business? Okay. Perfect. So, I wanted to talk about how to start a business and receive tax breaks for that. Because having a business will get you some big tax breaks on your taxes. And I'm just going to scan through it. I'm going to take too long. First, you have to register your business, of course, with the state. Then apply for your employer ID number with the IRS. Then you want to get a Duns and Bradford number. Then you also have your marketing, your branding, your social media marketing. Customer service is a big thing too. So with all of that, that's kind of just a kind of synopsis of how to get started. And then we'll talk about the tax breaks from that. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay. So individuals. So everybody knows it. Some people know, but everybody knows you should be filing your taxes every year. I have a lot of people that say, hey, I'm behind 3 years, can you help me? Like, well, you should have filed an extension, because now you got interest to pay. Another way for them to get money. However, but yes, as an individual, you want to make sure you file your taxes every year. As a business owner, you can file once a year, but you can pay your taxes either quarterly or annually. I know I have some business owners that rather pay at the end of the year because they're entrepreneurs, of course, they're trying to see their money during the year, so they rather pay during the end of the year. But it's best to do it quarterly, so that way you can kind of see it a little bit better. Also, W-2 employees. If you are a W-2 employee, I highly stress that you look at your exemptions. So I know a lot of people say, well, I have children in my household, and I'm going to claim all of them, I'm going to claim myself, I'm going to claim my husband, I'm going to claim everybody. But the more people that you claim, the more money that they take out of your paycheck. So then you wonder why at the end of the year you're owing the IRS because you did not pay enough federal taxes. So I cannot stress that enough to make sure you have, you're filing the correct amount of exemptions, and that will be on your W-4 form with your HR department, your W-2 employee. Also, tax breaks that you can receive is the earned income credit, and you do receive that for earning at least $11,000 a year. And then also, if you have children, you can receive the child tax credit if your income is higher. I know some people usually get a partial credit for that because they have not made enough money to receive that credit. Also, the itemizations, I know a lot of people like to itemize their deductions on their taxes. So as individuals, you can itemize your capital gains, you can itemize your charity donation, if you know, donate to your church or donate to the waterfront mission, things like that. You can also itemize your property taxes, your home interest, if you have rental properties, you can itemize that as well. For business owners, there's a whole list here. You can itemize everything from your office, your vehicles, your advertising expenses, any educational expenses, any travel expenses, your business startup. If you have employees, you can claim those monies as well. And utilities, cell phones, I'm sure everybody uses their cell phones for business. You can claim your cell phone bill as well. So the next one, for me, Chris. Again, using your tax money to create residual income, have it for savings. Again, he said money market accounts, property investments is another one that they talk about. Business investments, also saving for your kids' activities, like you said, and travel as well.
You have to be prepared to spend. You have to be prepared to take a risk. I'm a calculated risk taker. Actually, I'm a big faith stepper is what I call myself, but you have to be prepared. So if it's only $25 a month, like we were saying earlier, you can sacrifice something. You can sacrifice your coffee, you can sacrifice, going out to eat one time. You can pay your monthly bill. The car, go ahead and pay a side account how much your new mortgage will be to see if you can afford first before purchasing that property. If you do it for 2-3 months, maybe 6 months, and you feel you are ready to move forward, that money can also go towards your down payment for the house. It can go towards the down payment for your car. You have to prepare yourself before jumping into water and you don't know whether it's cold, hot, or the sharks are there to eat you alive. Just remember, it's not easy out here when you're just winging. It's best to get around, get educated. Like the brother said, read for yourself about things. Sometimes people can say things and it's on you what you filter and what you're going to carry with you. Just know that you are in control of your next move.
So when filing your individual or business taxes, with individual filings, it's a 1040. I'm sure everybody's familiar with 1040. If you have a nonprofit, it's going to be the 990EZ. And then the Schedule C form is for business owners. And I like this form because it categorizes everything that you can claim within your business. So with that, we have the ways that you can contact us on Facebook. We have our phone number up there, our email address, and our website. Say any closing remarks? Do anybody have any questions for us?
This question is really to get your opinion, and anybody can answer it. So it's that stepping back, quality. What I hear and what I see is that Black folks' relationship with money isn't, we don't have the same relationship to it. So we don't know how to make it right. What would be your advice on establishing a relationship with this economic system that is money? And more specifically, what I see is Black folks like, oh, it's time for my taxes, give me the form, and how much money I get back, and we play with somebody's kids. That's what we do. right? And we haven't been in, not, I would say we haven't been in the system long enough on this other side of it. Because, you know, we are the foundation of capitalism, our labor, like, so we come from a different kind of lens and different entries into this negotiation with money. And I think in starting out with that, how can the people who know more about it reintroduce us to it in such a way that we aren't we're the commodity. We are the thing that, we're the currency. We're the thing that everything else stands on. So how would you all, people who have a different type of relationship with money, reintroduce us into this mindset? If that makes sense. I know it sounds like I'm rambling, but that makes sense.
So honestly, it's levels, right? And I go back to the beginning part and I say, check your budget and calculate how you spend. So we're gonna start there because I feel we do spend unnecessary money as people. We are the biggest, I think they said our culture is the biggest spending, but we blow it on unnecessary things. You have the ones who might want to keep up with the Joneses, so they're doing the purchase designer, and not knowing the Joneses, they got the knockoff. But I want to keep up with the Joneses. I think we need to capitalize and visualize what we want as people, what we want personally, and challenge the person that you see in the mirror. So I'm gonna go back to, and I'm gonna raise my hand. How many of us love to eat out? We love food. My favorite thing to do is catch the lunch special. It's $10 instead of going to the dinner special. That's $25. I'm okay with sacrificing and eating a turkey sandwich. Me and my kids. I love my son. We actually a round of applause for him because we were the #1 team in Florida in soccer. And this is not even advertised, but they beat the #1 team down south last month, and it was beautiful. So when we went out to eat, I'm excited. Like, I'm on it. I'm saying, "Get what you want." And he's looking at the menu. He's like, "Oh, no." He said, "Oh, $30 for a pasta?" I said, "Hey, get the pasta. It was celebrated." He's like, "Oh, no, Dad, get it." So he saw the drink, and it was $4.95. And I teach them about little things because you want to go on a date one day, and you need to be honest with her. I don't care how she might make you feel. Like, you can't afford that? I can afford it, but I just don't want to pay for that. You know, so be honest with yourself. Hold on a second.
So one thing I like what you mentioned about the relationship. You're not gonna have a good relationship if you can't be open and vulnerable, right? So that means you have to be able to actually open up your books. Are you in debt, IRS, child support, whatever it may be, and work with someone that you trust and you know is not gonna talk all your business, right? And help you resolve all those issues. So I think it's a two-way street where we need to get to that point where you would have those conversations where all your business is out on the table and you know you can trust this person, whoever you're working with, to help you get through it and build from there. So this is my oversimplification because I see it as the relationship that you have with the person you're close with is no different from your money, right? So it's the same thing. I don't see it being any different.
I like it as a pride, though.
Right. If it's two people, right? So if you're the problem, right? Yeah. What was that?
I said both parties have opened up their books, problem or not problem. Because if I don't have a problem, but you do, I need to know how I can support you if that's my choice.
Agreed, yeah. Especially business partners.
One thing that I found out in dealing with this strategy of dealing with your money, you can't set it and forget it because the system is constantly changing. You're building a strategy on rules of 1977, and here it is almost 20-something. And the rules changed, and once I got out of that mindset of I can't set it and forget it, I got to look at it again and cultivate it again now my relationship and desire financially has changed because I want to see it grow. Under the mattress is not going to work, Grandma. In the coffee can is not going to work, Grandpa. We can't do that anymore and expect to excel in this society.
So a couple of things. We have to be intentional, right? When we have these types of gatherings and we're passing out information, not just you come, but bring someone with you. Be intentional and bring someone with you. And then it's not just knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge is power. What are you gonna do with what you learn? We've got to start applying as a people what we stay in all of these seminars, these conventions, we go to these places, we get all of this knowledge and information, but we do not apply it. And the way to change a generational curse, a bloodline curse, is change behavior. We've got to change our behavior when it comes to money. That's just it. We just got to change our behavior, right? We just got to change it. I love that question, absolutely. Thank you.
And also additionally, in our Black churches and all our leader areas, they have to push this. They have to make sure that this information like we have right here, this group that we have right here are in our churches so they can teach this. But it gotta come from them. They gotta insist that we have programs and direction like this in our leadership too, that also go into our communities and spread. But gotta be intentional, absolutely.
No, I'm grateful for the question because, yeah, it just opened up so much. And my favorite part of what he said, we have to be honest. One of my brands is Mascot. It's geared towards us, revealing some of the things that we went through at a young age, some of the things that we're going through now, some of the things that we just hold in, which is making us sick. But if we get it out, we got to know when the room may be able to know it. So we have to stop being ashamed and just know that this is real life and that we're all trying to get this thing right together. But it's all together when you open up for yourself. So just thank you for the question.
Thank you so much, Royce. I would like you guys to give a round of applause for Now we're going to go a little bit deeper. You've got 2 levels of some great insight information from some very knowledgeable people. And I would like to, you've heard a little bit from them this evening, but I would like to pass the mic. We are going to go into our panel discussions. We've got some 2 additional panelists that are on here that I invited. The first one I'm going to introduce. When I first wanted to start Noire Investment, I was at Penny Penny's, and I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm a serial entrepreneur. I help entrepreneurs. I now work professionally for a large company and help manage problems and find solutions to situations. That's just my God-given gift. So I was figuring out, I was like, I want to do this. I have this desire. This information has been passed down from my family, from my father. How do I get this to the community? I reached out to someone. Chris and I had a conversation, and then Erin Wilmer's name came across, and I said, I met her. I followed her, and she released this amazing book. It's a God's Chocolate Chips. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I went to purchase that book to support her. And then I had a business conversation with her. And she told me, I'm starting Noire, if you can make it 1 year, you're gonna be okay. And I said, 1 year? She said, I'm here in Pensacola, I've seen investment groups. If you can make it 1 year, you will be okay. And she said, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be hard if you can do 1 year. 5 years later, I adore her, I follow her when she recently started her group, and I'll let her share a little bit about that. But I'm very grateful to her because sometimes all it takes is somebody just to believe in you.
That's right.
If you have somebody to believe in you, you can do it. And I'm grateful to Erin for believing in Noire. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Erin Wilmer, and then after that, I'll introduce our next panelist.
I am excited to be here with you all tonight. I am born and raised in Pensacola, Florida. I joined the Navy at 17. served 24 years in the Navy. When I retired, I came back home. My husband and I, I'm sure most of you know Steve Wilmer, we came back home and started our careers here. So my husband owns a training consulting company. I worked with a very reputable investment firm for 10 years, and after that 10 years, I started my own investment firm. And so it is my passion to teach the community about investing. Today, it was a pleasure to distribute a check for $50,000 to one of my long-term investors for her to go out and buy her dream car. So that was a blessing. She's not gonna break her either, you know. She still got money to invest, so I was excited about that. And so I am here. I am just on the street 714 North of Villas. And I have some cards in the back, brochures in the back, and if you want to sit down and talk with me, fill out that information and I'll give you a call. But I am just excited to be here and to just share. Thank you.
Some of the answers to questions. So I know this panelist's wife. Her and I worked together on Junior League on the tedious year together. We were in the trenches, toiling, trying to get things together. I got nominated to be the VP of Fund Management. There I am again with money. So I'm helping a nonprofit be able to get the funds. So we were toiling. I loved her spirit, I loved her energy. She always just was a positive force. And I did a crazy thing, and I went right back in the next year for Junior League of Pensacola, became the VP of Fund Management for a second time, helping fundraise and getting things together. Oh my God, well, I literally did that. Amazing fundraising efforts, but there was something that was going on. In the midst of us fundraising, I noticed every time we were coming up, she said, let me check with my husband. I think let me check with my husband. I think he'll sponsor. So he's going to sponsor? So you have to know, huh? He works at a bank. We have a black banker. It's like, wow, we got a black banker in Pensacola. I didn't even know more about him. So not only did he sponsor that year, he came back and sponsored the next year. And Junior League of Pensacola is a white organization. Having a black banker at this gala, you don't know what that looks like. And it was so impressive to me. And I wanted to say, thank you, number one, being Fund Management VP, and you supported, because that helped us for this year to be our biggest fundraising efforts that we were able to have. And I appreciate you, because this was led by a black staff, black events, and Denisha, if you will raise your hand, she's going to be one of our future Junior League Black presidents coming up. I'm excited about that. But I wanted to say thank you, because I said, Denisha, do you think Junior will come? Let me send a message. I'd love to have a black banker to be able to speak to us. So, John, will you introduce yourself to everybody here?
I'm John Griffin. I am a regional manager for Sonoma State. I have a territory from Pensacola all the way to Tallahassee. And I would say God is good. I was elevated at the level, you know, I said a prayer years ago. I've been in banking over 26 years. And I said, God, if you elevate me to the level where I can bless my people, I will continue to almost make this a ministry. So with that being said, we've been over almost 20 some branches. What's the Noire? I'll tell you that I have been able to impact our black community and help them utilize money.
Can you stand up so
basically
we can
have.
see you? Can you stand up so I can see you?
So it's very important that we utilize money that's out there, and also make sure that we know how to get the money that's out there. So I am representing Sonoma Bank, but I'll tell you this: if you have any questions as a one-off outside of anything that I go over in the next 5 minutes, I'll tell you, please connect with me. Please connect with me by LinkedIn or however you want to do it. You can actually walk in any Sonoma Bank and just ask for the regional, and they'll tell you. They'll contact. And I also have some cards too. So, is this my time? Okay, all right. I'll be back.
And I wanted to ask, there's one other person who's been working, of course, that's Tommy Gunn. Tommy Gunn, I wanted to have a business person now. If anybody knows what it means to be an entrepreneur and get down in the trenches, it's those who work in hospitality. My gosh, when you work in hospitality, you are constantly grinding your knuckles to the ground, like to make sure that your food presentation is right, that your customer service is right, that your reviews are right. You name it, it is a labor of love. So I wanted to have a business site, someone who is respected among the community, because Tommy opened up East Kings Corner. My God, those wings, y'all have seen them. Like, that's a God-given blessing. And then he went another step and he said, you know what, I'm gonna open up another place, another spot. And then he opened up 1219. And 1216. And then he also, that's not to also foreshadow that he also supports his wife business, Tracy B's, which she has a boutique. So this man is constantly hustling. And when I see Tommy sometimes, I know as a business owner, as a working in those operations, I see the smile on his brow. He never stops. You see the man is sitting at the table right now after working and making sure all the food's taken care of. This is what we do. But I needed that expertise at the table so that people can understand if we have business questions, what it really takes. We have to be authentic, have to be open with one another, so that way you don't get fooled and you know what you're getting into. So I would like to also have him share a little bit, just introduce himself. Tommy Gunn, the Navy serviceman.
Good afternoon, how are you all, everybody? Thank you for being here. This is 70% up. Give yourself a round of applause. One time for the Noire Investment Group. I started this group here from the ground when we started 5 years ago, and I thought it was great. First thing I thought about, just talking about from a business aspect. First thing I can tell you from a business aspect, bet the house on it. If you're not betting the house on it, you're just playing. And what I mean by that, no risk, no reward. I promise you, if you bet the house on it, you will get up in the morning. You will stay up late at night. When someone calls for a catering or whatever you do, I promise you, you will deliver. There's no such thing as can't. If you have more wants, WONTs, then you have wills, then you won't have it. So bet the house on it. So if you never took a risk, entrepreneurship is one of those things where you have to have that risk tolerance. Like, we do multiple things, and I do, my daytime job is trucking. So we do owner-operator trucking also. Some of you also try to see some things that are going on this week. So Tony and I, man, have a lot of conversations during the week while I'm driving. And me and Chris, we conversate a lot. But it's a pleasure of seeing everybody here. I love this group. I love everybody that I'm connected with and the network here from Brian. Oh, D'Angelo, what's up, baby? But entrepreneurship is great. But it is challenging. One time for Rodney Jackson, that was us. He was actually my first business banker that opened me and my friend first account when we started to buy real estate. Rodney Jackson, he did. So one time for Rodney, one time for Sinopolis. So we'll get back to that. Thank you all, and thank you, Mom.
My pleasure. So we're gonna go ahead and start some of the questions around table, so that way you guys can be a little bit more interactive. So let's go ahead and open it up to the floor. If you have questions that you would like to ask the panel on anything in regard to Black finance, money, business, please raise your hand and we'll get the microphone up to you, and then we'll get it up to our panelists to be able to address, okay?
What I really appreciated was you talked about your God-given talents. And we all have God-given talents, but we also have God-given weaknesses, or weaknesses make God use us. Mine is finances, money. I'm completely ignorant when it comes to everything that you gotta be speaking another language that I would like to learn, but I also do not like social media or computers. So how do you get into this reluctantly, I would say?
So, contrary to popular belief, I come from an engineering background. I think of money and spiritual energy as very similar. When you give, you want to get some type of reciprocation back, right? So I would think of it in that term, right? So are you getting what you're putting out? And being able to kind of measure that quantitatively would probably be the best way to approach doing it. Because it's really no different, right? You could get involved in some relationships and be really in debt. Maybe not financially, but you feel that you're giving more than you're getting, right? Money's no different. So I kind of look at things that way. If you kind of start thinking of it as exchanging energy, it may alter your thought of it, because I think that's really a perception issue that we have in our community. But I think of it as just a database of people's effort, and we're trying to manage that. Am I putting too much effort in this? Do I need to cut my strings and move on to something else? So that would be my kind of best stat.
If you don't mind, I would love to ask a question, and if you don't want to answer, that's totally fine. Can you tell me some of your gifts?
I am a mental health counselor. I do substance abuse, any court-ordered anger management, parenting, life skills.
She's a giver.
I think I'm up the spectrum. I've been up there in this office since the end of 2014, 2015. And so I'm a mental health counselor.
Well, for one, I appreciate your service, so please give her a round of applause. And it can get heavy at times, and we need more of you around. So, are you trying to figure out a way to turn it into an income? Or are you working for someone, or what is your plan?
No, I work for myself and I'm doing pretty well right now. I just got a contract in the jail to do anger management in the jail.
Nice.
So I'm going to have money, I just don't, I want to be able to do something with it.
So definitely, personally, I think he said a few things. I'm not sure if somebody else wants to say something, but I would say definitely get in contact with someone here, and it doesn't matter who.
Well, I wanted him, but he said no.
That you visit, you've got all the panelists here who are going to give you amazing advice. You've got a paper on the table. Go and schedule an appointment with John and have that conversation. Once you go and have a conversation with John, come and visit Aaron and lay out things, have plans of action, have your budget, how much you're going to be getting, what is your monthly plan for the money? Where do you need to hold that money? Because we believe if you get money, wherever you need to sit it, where it's making money, that's where you're going to come back and talk to Corey and say, okay, Corey, I've talked to the banker, I've talked to the financial advisor. Where am I going to hold this money where it's going to build interest? Then you're going to come by and see this couple to make sure that your mental health of the relationship is right. And then you're going to come by and you're going to talk to him to make sure you're in your business. Check dot all the T's and all the I's. He'll look for your pitfalls. So you go all around this table, and then if you need investment conversations about investing, come see me. So you can go by and make deposits on everybody at this table to keep you aligned, so that way you're good. But I would advise schedule an appointment with each one of these people. Just do a coffee chat. Some of my rent peers do this all the time. I'll say, what's a coffee chat? So let's go do a coffee chat. It's a coffee chat. It's a coffee chat. 15 minutes they put on your schedule to be able to level up every week. I'm doing a coffee chat with my VP. What's a coffee chat? We're talking about anything. We're talking about finances. We're talking about promotions. We're talking about 6 months goals. Coffee chat. So put coffee chats on every one of them to help you level up. And I'm pretty sure if you get on all of their calendars, you're going to be fine with your money. And in fact, if you mess with these people, you'll get interest and grow your money. So, is that right? Awesome. Another question from the audience?
About money, and when you said you want to get into the conversation, well, you first kind of got to figure out in what arena of money you're speaking of, because money is so abstract. In other words, is it the investment side? Do you want to do a business side, or are you just looking to saving to grow it. Where you want to first start, like where you are, where you want to kind of be with it. Like you said, like Tom asked you about your skill set. You have a great skill set, and so are you looking to more expand that on to the business side, or are you looking just more like on the investment side?
Not the business side. 10 years, I'm pretty established, and everybody that works with me are independent contractors, so I'm not worried about.
Yes.
So, not the
It's
business.
just more on the financial investment side and education side. Well, I tell you what, there's a group that I know of that has a great educational starter that they meet monthly, and that is one of their sole purposes. And this group here, shameless plug, that this is where you want to be to start that base knowledge and to level up. Because one of the greatest things I did with this group, and I was so happy I told on them, I was so happy that everyone else in that room was smarter than me.
That's right.
So much smarter than me. I was like, man, I'm so happy you guys are smarter than me. And it's one of the best moves I ever made was connecting with this group.
Thank you so much. Another question?
Awesome.
All right, with me, I'm more about simplifying things so that I can hold it in the suitcase. I believe somebody mentioned, I believe it was you, that, you put the information side that's less useful, you carry the information that's more useful, a lot of things to do in a day, a lot of things to remember. And also the gentleman here that said, things change, if you're staying still, you're gonna get popped, you're gonna get hit, they're gonna take your money somewhere or another. So just tell me if this is a good summary. I have the first thing, which is avoiding charges like interest, taxes, things of that sort, as much as you can, budgeting so that you can basically just, keep the aggravation on the account as much as possible. So avoiding charges, one, getting discounts, number two, like for taxes, when you're going shopping, you may get a coupon to get something, you may get it on sale, putting it aside. And doing that, make sure your money goes farther than it would, and also one special. And then using the spending to gain payment. So instead of spending on something that's going to take money from you, being an expense to get something that's going to, like dividends, get you the money. So all of these things that you're mentioning is pretty much a way to position yourself so that instead of being worn down, being sort of, taken by the bear of the wilderness, if you will, that you can be in a better position, be on top of the hill to get an advantage. Is that pretty much an idea of how?
100%, Sean. What I'm going to do as well, there's a question that we had, and I'm going to ask our banker and also Ms. Wilbur that goes a little bit deeper to that. So I've already cut corners with my budget. Skipping lattes, packing lunch, it's still not enough. So there's people who might say, okay, I've got the notes. You just asked and did a quick recap in regards to, I'm hearing all this stuff. And there might be some people saying, I'm saving all this stuff, now what? So my question would be, if you're doing all of that and you're saving, John, what other things do you think that a person could do to be able to support? If they're saving, they're not doing the lattes, as a banker, what things would you recommend? And then we'll go to Ms. Wilmer for what deeper can you do to be able to help save? Sure, so I'm already on my budget, I'm skipping lattes, I'm not going to McDonald's, and it's still not enough. So is there any recommendation for those, especially in this economy, those who might be sitting here and rubbing their fingers together? Do you have any other financial recommendations that you would say for those who are folks sitting here to be able to come up a little bit more financially?
Well, it also starts with the habits, right? Habits and behaviors, just like we already been discussing. So you want to make sure that, example, here's one thing that I see all the time when it comes to spending money diligently through accounts, right? So make sure you're using all the tools that manage your day-to-day balances that banks have, okay? So they have tools in there that let you know that you're overspending. They have tools in there that let you know that there's ways that you can actually save money and cut back on those lattes, that you're spending too much money on those lattes. And then additionally, if you're trying to make money right now, on a smaller level and not invest, there are CDs out there now that we was talking about earlier. CD rates now, guys, are up at 5%. And if you think back 3 or 4 years ago, everybody rates was 0.05% and 1%, and if you were lucky, right?